You're taking a look inside Kansas politics. Welcome in. I'm Rebecca Chung. Today we're getting answers on some of the state's top issues from Kansas Governor Laura Kelly. I asked the governor about her priorities for next year's session and how she specifically plans to get things done. Will she budge on certain issues like school choice or a flat tax? We talked about that and more in a one-on-one interview. So, Governor, I wanted to start by talking about your legislative priorities for next year. How do you specifically plan to get some of these proposals passed? I know you've brought up some proposals that Republicans have not agreed with in past years. So what is your specific plan for getting those through the legislature?
Okay, well, there are really probably 4 or 5 top priorities that I'll have. Obviously, the Early Childhood Transition Task Force presented recommendations for the ways that we could consolidate all of the programs and services we offer in early childhood right now. That's a very high priority to get that consolidated in some way, shape, or form, just for efficiency and effectiveness sake. I think, obviously, special education funding, I will approach that again this year. I have added water to my list of priorities. Last year, the legislature did some good work. We put an additional $35 million per year for the next 5 years into the water issue. In the meantime, I have set up a sub-cabinet to address the water issues, hired a special advisor on water, and so we're going to be focused like a laser on issues related to water for sustainability and for clean water projects. So that'll be, and then probably the big one, I think everybody is aware that Medicaid expansion will be my #1 priority. I have spent the last months going all over the state, really conducting an all-out campaign to get Medicaid expanded. I have tried now 5 times in my usual way of, bringing people to the table, discussions, compromise, bipartisanship. That has not worked. So I'm taking a little bit of a different tack this year since it's been made into nothing more than a political issue because there's no good policy, no good budgetary reason not to expand Medicaid. It's all politics, so we'll deal with it in a more political way this coming session.
Okay, and I know you came out with your proposal, so would that be the first bill you're introducing next session?
Probably.
Okay. Just on the note of Medicaid, 2 M's that I think usually come up around the State House that never really get addressed: Medicaid expansion, medical marijuana. Could 2024 be the year for these 2 proposals to pass if this were to come up? So how will you change your approach for both issues when it comes to Medicaid expansion and medical marijuana? And is there a compromise that can be reached among Republicans when it comes to these issues, do you think?
Well, with medical marijuana, I've obviously been a proponent for medical marijuana legalization for years, since I served on the Health Committee in the Senate. Whether I will invest a lot of energy in that this year, I don't think so. I think there are a lot of other folks out there who will advocate strongly for that. Do I think it can get passed? I do. There just seems to be a lot less resistance, particularly coming from the Senate president. It's a matter of whether the Speaker of the House will bring it up in his chamber. In terms of Medicaid expansion, as I said, we're really approaching this from more of a political campaign rather than the traditional way that we usually work on policy. And we've been out and about really talking with all the different stakeholders and all the different sectors and businesses to bring them all together, to have them work with their rank and file legislators to then turn to put the pressure on legislative leadership. Because I think if you give the rank and file legislators an opportunity to vote on it, it would pass. They know 70 to 80% of their constituents want Medicaid expansion. And the fact that it's an election year isn't lost on them. And they're going to hear a lot from their constituents if they don't expand it this next session. So I'm hoping that that sort of environment will lead to legislative leadership giving the rank and file the opportunity to debate and vote on Medicaid expansion, and if they won't, then for the rank and file to use several procedural motions that can be taken to bring it to a vote without legislative approval.
Right, it's really just a matter. It's just a matter of if they'll bring it to the floor. But Speaker of the House, Dan Hawkins, he's been very resistant to bring that up or to further it when it comes to Medicaid expansion, further that progression on the House side. And so with that sort of pushback, how do you plan to negotiate around something like that? For example, you've been pretty outspoken about the fact that you would not say yes to a flat tax. If they were to bring that up and say, hey, give us our flat tax, we'll bring forward Medicaid expansion for a vote even, would that be something you'd consider?
I said no last year to that, and I'll say no this coming year and every year going forward. I am not going to negotiate for something that is really, really good for Kansans and trade away something that would be really, really bad for Kansans. A flat tax will take us back to the Brownback days, that Brownback tax experiment that decimated our state. It won't be as abrupt or as deep initially as the Brownback tax experiment was, but over time it'll take us right back into that ditch, and we'll be underfunding our schools, not building our roads. I won't do that to Kansans. As much as I want Medicaid expansion, I couldn't trade off for that.
And what about some level of negotiation on perhaps school choice legislation? Does that look like an open
school choice
tunnel?
Is another a non-starter for me. I have always been a major supporter of our public school system here in the state of Kansas, and I'm that way because that's how Kansans are. Kansans want love their public school systems. They built schools before they built churches. They put it in the Constitution that we would fund our public schools. So I'm not going to trade away for Medicaid expansion by, again, putting something really awful and bad for Kansans on the table.
After the break, what areas are up for negotiation? And with the governor saying flat out no to a flat tax, is there any hope of getting major tax relief passed next year? We'll be right back. You're watching Inside Kansas Politics.
Need a little inspiration this holiday season? Fairlawn Plaza invites you to shop local, eat local, spend local, and enjoy local. Shop our collection of more than 30 local businesses. Enjoy a snack, coffee, drinks, or dine at one of our terrific restaurants. Bring the kids to see Santa and Mrs. Claus. Fairlawn Plaza and our locally owned merchants are all together better. 21st and Fairlawn.
Calhoun's Jewelers Winter Sale is happening now. Make this winter extra bright with a gift that lasts forever. Browse the largest selection of fine jewelry in Topeka to find exactly what you're looking for. Don't miss our best sale of the year with savings up to 60% off store-wide, now through December 31st. Let us help you find the perfect gift to make this season unforgettable. Calhoun's Jewelers, located at 1801 Southwest Gage in Topeka, Kansas.
And the winner is Blind Tiger Brewery, National Brewer of the Year and Brewery of the Year, Great American Beer Festival 2022.
Our beer is now recognized as best in the country.
Gold medal for Blind Tiger Bock and gold medal for Smoke Follows Beauty, Smoke Bock. Plus, National Brewer of the Year and Brewery of the Year.
We brew this delicious beer not for the accolades, but because it's from our heart.
Fine craft beer at the Blind Tiger Brewery. We have a passion for beer.
Enjoy the holiday spirit with Songs of the Season. Music provided by local high school choirs.
Sponsored by these fine sponsors.
Welcome back to Inside Kansas Politics. I'm Rebecca Chung. We're continuing our talk with Kansas Governor Laura Kelly, who could face hurdles if she wants to get some of her top priorities through Republican leaders. Here's what she had to say when I asked whether there's room for negotiation. Still, it sounds like you'll have to give up something in some sort of compromise. So what are some open negotiating points for you?
Well, I think we did that within the proposal. The main argument that legislative leadership has had over the years is that Medicaid expansion would allow for able-bodied, sitting on the couch, not working folks to get health insurance. That's not true. We know that most of the people who will be eligible for Medicaid expansion are actually working. They're working in our restaurants, they're working in our hotels, they're taking care of our kids in daycare. They're working, they just don't have employer-based health insurance. So while I know that to be true, I also know that they won't come off the dime unless we have the work requirement in there. So we put one in there, but one that we think can pass CMS muster. The Center for Medicaid and Medicare have to grant you a waiver to be able to include a work requirement. They've not done it for other states, but I think it's because of the way the other states have presented it, where applicants would have to prove that they were employed at the time, initial application, and then every month thereafter. We've put it together so that it won't be that onerous. It'll be the same right now. For our regular Medicaid program, you've got to prove your income eligibility when you apply, and then every year thereafter when you come up for renewal. We propose the same thing with the work requirement. Show us you're working upon initial application, and then every year when it comes renewal time, prove it again.
Still, Senate President Ty Masterson and Speaker Hawkins have spoken out against that as well. So that's another hurdle. So how do you plan to cross that?
Well, this is what they do every year. For 5 years, every year I've introduced a Medicaid expansion proposal. I've addressed issues that they have brought up, and then I come back and they've moved the goalposts. And that's exactly what they're doing right now is, they said they wanted a work requirement. I give them a work requirement, not good enough. But I think given that it's an election year, given that rank and file are very interested in meeting the needs of their constituents, I think those things together might move the goalpost back and we get this done.
Okay, looking at tax proposals for next year, what's on the table on your end? So I know, one, you're gonna say no to a flat tax. That's something we spoke about. But Republicans, they're not budging either. So are you worried this will lead to some sort of impasse when it comes to passing a major tax package next year?
I hope not. That's what happened last year. I had a proposal out there for income tax or tax relief, moving the sales tax elimination up. Have it start earlier. We had some things in there for veterans. We had some things in there for folks on Social Security. We had some property tax relief. They wanted their flat tax, so they said no to this very reasonable, fiscally responsible, and sustainable tax cut that we proposed. They complain about the surplus being so huge. So I said, okay, Lynn, let's give $450 for single filers, $900 for married filed jointly. Let's just give them a rebate. Give them a check for that amount, put it in their pockets, and decrease the surplus. They said no to that. We're going to come in, and I know the flat tax is going to come back. I'm a no, absolutely not. We were able to kill it last year. I think we'll be able to kill it this year. So I'm hoping that they'll recognize that and not hurt the Kansas people by refusing to pass any tax relief if they can't have their way.
Okay. No backup plan? Is there a backup plan if things, go awry?
I can only do so much. I can only put out proposals and then negotiate from there. If they won't negotiate with me on a reasonable, sustainable tax cut and insist upon the flat tax, then we could have a repeat of last year, and that would be unfair to Kansans.
When we come back, we're getting answers on a foreign cyber attack that crippled Kansas court systems. Did the state have to pay a ransom? We're asking that question next. Plus, the battle over special education money continues. Will there be a compromise next year? We'll be right back. You're watching Inside Kansas Politics.
Mental health is about emotional health and brain health.
Healthy children and families, and a healthy Kansas. Go to acmhck.org to find your local community mental health center.
Hi, I'm Justin Glasgow, owner of Performance Tire and Auto. During this special time of the year, we want to express our deepest gratitude to all that have supported us.
To our incredible staff, thank you for your dedication. Your hard work brings joy to our customers.
To our valued customers, you are our greatest gift. Thank you for making us a part of your holiday journey.
And to our healthcare workers, our first responders, and our teachers, your selfless service is the true spirit of the season. Thank you for all that you do.
Wishing you a joyful holiday and a Merry Christmas.
Hazel Hill Chocolate downtown at 724 South Kansas Avenue or on the web at hazelhillchocolate.com.
This holiday, New Sound Hearing and Tinnitus Center encourages you to slow down, listen, be present with your loved ones. Your family is the reason the New Sound staff does what we do. Have a Merry Christmas.
Most people look at the scene of a truck crash and just see a bad car accident.
But at Devon James, we know there's more to it. An overloaded trailer, signs of poor maintenance, or a trucking company pushing drivers beyond their limits.
If you've been injured in a crash with a big truck, you deserve to know who's responsible.
Call Devon James, the real truck lawyers. We can uncover the true cause of your crash.
And fight for the compensation you deserve. Devon James wins. Call 888-8888.
Welcome back to Inside Kansas Politics. I'm Rebecca Chung. Up next, we have an update on the foreign cyber attack that shut down court systems across the state. I asked the governor what went on behind the scenes and what will be done to make sure it doesn't happen again. The foreign cyber attack that happened, you mentioned investing funds when it comes to this situation when asked about how the administration plans to address this. So what does that mean exactly? What sort of efforts can the state also do to combat this sort of situation in the future so something like this doesn't happen? And why weren't we prepared for this one?
Well, it's hard. You know, those cyber criminals out there are pretty clever and find ways to stay one step ahead. We need to work to make sure that we've got our firewalls in place and that we can keep these folks out. And we've got our entire information technology group working very hard with our agencies to ensure that they've got the protocols in place that prevent these kinds of things. Or, you know, should somebody get through, because they're clever, then, you know, what do we do in response so that we mitigate the damage that is done or the information that gets released. So there is a lot of work going on. It's not something you're going to see because it's all behind the scenes. We'll be investing, we are investing a lot in just new systems. You know, a lot of the way that these cyber criminals get in is because you have antiquated systems that don't have, you know, the more sophisticated firewalls. So we're looking in every agency and trying to upgrade or replace those antiquated systems, much like the courts had.
And the executive branch, right? It wouldn't need action from legislators?
Well, we need the appropriations from legislators, and there is a joint committee on information technology, and our folks are working very closely with that legislative joint committee on these projects.
It's kind of crazy because it's like, how do you get out of something like that? A sophisticated foreign cyber attack. Did you have to pay a ransom? Is that something that had to happen? Did the state pay a ransom?
We were asked. I don't know that I should say anything about that. I mean, just because we're dealing with these folks, and I think it'd probably be best if I stayed mute on that.
Okay. Special education. I know this has also been a big topic for next year. Will this work on the Republican side when it comes to having conversations with them? It's another point where they've pushed back a little bit on how much money they would designate to special education, more so right now, looking at maybe how that funding formula works. What are your thoughts on that? What will be the approach with the legislature for next year?
It'll be pretty much the same as it was last year. You know, I will propose phasing in special education funding over a number of years till we get to our statutorily required amount. I'll continue to work with our congressional delegation so that maybe one day the federal government will pay their fair share towards special ed. I know that there will be proposals coming up that would manipulate the school finance formula. I will remind the legislature that we were under litigation for decades, and we finally got out, about 4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago. And while the court continues to hold, the Supreme Court continues to hold jurisdiction on that, we have been able to pass muster for the last 5 years because we are following essentially what the court ordered that we do and that we're constitutionally required to do. I will continue down that vein when the legislature makes proposals that will unravel that agreement. I will oppose it.
After the break, with rumors swirling of a potential Kansas City Royals move, is Kansas throwing their name in the hat? We'll be right back. You're watching Inside Kansas Politics.
Growing the market for Kansas-made E15 is a win-win for Kansans. What's E15? It's fuel with 15% ethanol compared to the usual 10% in regular unleaded. E15 is more affordable, has better performance, and runs cleaner than regular unleaded, meaning Kansas drivers can go further for less. From helping Kansas farm families by stabilizing grain prices, helping Kansas become more energy independent, and adding more than 4,000 jobs in Kansas, more of our money stays right here at home because of ethanol. Visit fueledbykansas.com to find a station near you.
The story of Grace Med has always been told through its people, both those who serve and those who it is our honor to serve. We meet at the intersection of compassion and vulnerability, bringing health where there was illness and hope where there was despair. Our patients come to us bearing the weight of living in the margins, and we share the love of Jesus Christ with them by providing compassionate quality health care for all their physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. Because health restored is always hope renewed. Find hope today by scheduling an appointment with Grace Med.
Protect your home from sudden power outages with a Generac home standby generator installed by Shockwave Electric certified experts. Call Shockwave Electric for all your commercial and residential electrical services.
Hi, I'm Eric Wilson with Capital City Flooring. We have the flooring for your style and budget. With our in-house installers, rest assured you will have our people in your home providing the best workmanship and quality. Capital City Flooring, where fine quality and service matter most.
Vanderbilt's is your Carhartt headquarters. Stop by and see our newly expanded selection of Carhartt gear. Stay warm with Carhartt's quilt-lined hooded duck jacket. You'll love how easy you can get in and out of these zip-to-the-hip Carhartt insulated duck bibs. Perfect for layering. Check out Carhartt's midweight logo sweatshirt or Carhartt's heavyweight t-shirt. Great selection of best-selling Carhartt knit or Thinsulate lined caps.
Work boots center, Vanderbilt.
Welcome back to Inside Kansas Politics. I'm Rebecca Chung. Finally today, the governor is weighing in on how Kansas and Missouri are working together to boost the economy. I asked if that also includes luring some pro sports teams to the Kansas side and about her recent Swift gift for the holidays. Okay, now moving on to Kansas and Missouri working together. I know this has been a big thing when it comes to economic boosts on both sides. So how are Kansas and Missouri now working together to boost economic growth? I know that there have been some rumors swirling about the Kansas City Chiefs potentially relocating during sports betting talks in the legislature, but now, more recently, rumors of the Royals looking to relocate. Has the state made an offer to the Chiefs or the Royals to get them to come over to Kansas, and how much?
No.
No, not at all?
No, and nothing.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard those rumors too. You can be assured that we have not approached either the Chiefs or the Royals trying to entice them to come across the river, and we have not laid a dime on the table for that either. I mean, we haven't approached them, so we haven't put the money on the table. So.
Is that part of not wanting to upset our neighbors in Missouri? Is that part of not wanting to upset our neighbors in Missouri, or? Yeah,
probably part of that. I mean, Obviously we settled the border wars, in 2019, my first year in office, and things have gone really well since then. We have worked over in the Kansas City metro area as a region, and gone on trade missions together, Missouri, Kansas together, and it has worked. Both sides have benefited significantly from that cooperative spirit. In fact, I would tell you, I think that's a lot of the reason that we were able to land Panasonic is because they were very impressed with the collaborative approach that we took with our local units of government, with the county, with our local Eco-Devo groups, across the river, working together rather than battling one another for the prize. So I think we will continue to do that. And in terms of the Chiefs and the Royals, I know that rumors like that are swirling all over the place. I think it probably comes out of the fact that the legislature, set up that account when we were passing sports betting, to lure professional athletic teams. But you can trust me that there won't be enough money in that account to lure a concession stand across the river. So there's that.
The Disagree Better campaign, that's really what I wanted to touch on, because I saw that you and the Missouri governor kind of teaming up there. Big question that we're asking everyone right now: how can Republicans and Democrats disagree better next year?
I think just stop the yelling, stop the personalizing of the issues. Don't make it about Democrats or Republicans. Don't make it about the governor or the Senate president or the Speaker of the House. Rather, what's the issue? And let's just sit down and discuss. Will we disagree? Yeah, we will disagree. We always have on a number of issues. But that doesn't mean we need to resort to name calling or threatening or bullying or any of those other kinds of things that we're seeing way too much of, particularly on the federal level.
Okay. And really quick, I was going to ask about your Taylor Swift album, because I know you got that just in time for Christmas. Have you had a chance to listen to it? What's your favorite?
My daughters are just absolutely thrilled, as is my son-in-law, and can't wait to get here to hear the CD the staff put together for me.
Oh, okay. You haven't listened to it yet?
I have not. I have a CD player at Cedar Crest, but it's in the living room. And during the week, I probably don't set foot in that living room. Just don't have time when it's right after work. This weekend, however, I will have time, and I will sit and I will listen to it.
Nice. Okay. Well, we'll come back around and ask you what your favorite song is.
Okay, that would be a good idea, because I don't know yet.
Yeah, Governor, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that was your look inside Kansas politics. We'll see you right here, same time, same place. Have a good day.